So now what about wedding? Are we thinking big wedding, small wedding, winter wedding?
Winter wedding, because I'm from Texas and I would like it to be in Texas. And we both have big families, so it's inevitable that it's going to be a big one.
And I've heard, did you say something about not wanting to wear a dress?
I don't. If I have a choice, I would prefer not to wear a dress.
Like a
My mother
Celine
will kill
Dion
me.
You gonna wear like a back, like the suit Dion, like what was it, the Dior Calvin Klein suit?
Yes, the all white, low cut, no shirt underneath, very sexy, classy.
Hey,
You don't have a problem with that,
complaining.
right?
I'm not complaining.
You can show up in a bubble.
This girl looks good in a trash bag, I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back. I mean, because we went on a kind of an emotional roller coaster with you last night. The breakup with you and Peter, I cannot imagine it was easy to live, let alone watch back. But one of the things you said was that he just confused you so. The question is hard to ask, and I imagine it's probably also very difficult to answer. But had he given you what you wanted and said, I want to propose to you, I can propose to you, would this have played out a little differently?
No, because that's actually not a hard question for me to answer, because if you watch, he says he'll propose to me. You know, he said, I'm in love with you. He said, it's not what I want to do, but I don't want to lose you. I'll propose to you. And I still said no.
Well, at that point, it felt like it was too little too late, right?
But if that's what I really wanted, I would have said yes. I mean, when I came into that night, I knew what I was already going to do. You know, it didn't make it any easier. You know, when you care about someone, it's hard to break up with them. You know, I've never been good at saying goodbye in that sense. But I knew I wasn't in love with him. I cared about him, but Bryan was the one that I was in love with.
Yeah. I remember when you were speaking of the hard goodbye, my mom we watched it together last night, and she was like, if she breaking up with him, why she kissing him? Just tell the boy bye. But I mean, I can imagine it was difficult, and it was a kind of a breaking off of sorts. Yeah. When he said to you, though, go have your mediocre life, there had to have been a little something in the back. I mean, what were you feeling then?
I was shocked that he said that. And I mean, even last night I said, well, just so you know, I'm not living a mediocre life. I'm living my best life, like just in case you needed to know. I mean, I was, you know, he apologized and said that, you know, he was coming from an emotional place. But in that moment, that's not how I felt. I felt that he truly meant that. Yeah. And that was very telling of me, or for me at the same time.
Yeah, because you talked about there being some things in Geneva you saw.
Yes.
That we didn't get to see. And the reason I ask is because there are a lot of people who were rooting for you two as a couple and didn't understand where the breakdown was. What were some of those things that were like this is not going to work for you?
Yeah, I think it's really sad because people think they know, but they have no idea. And people became so invested in Peter and I because we had the first one-on-one date. Right. And it went well. And they just latched on to that. But for me, Geneva was a very telling date for us. You know, it was our second one-on-one. I started to peel back some of those layers, and he wasn't, for me, my person. Like, he wasn't what I wanted in a man. You know, I have said from the beginning, I want someone who knows who they are, knows where they're going, and knows what they want. Right. And that wasn't Peter. And I realized that, I started to realize that in Geneva, and the more I was around him, it became more evident to me.
But as you said, you have your track record or your past is like, but I can fix it. I can make this work. I can fix it. And we saw you struggle with that.
Yeah. I mean, the reason that, well, I was single, but 32 and single is because I dated a lot of Peters. I felt like I could fix it. I could save them. And it was crazy how I was going through this experience and faced with a real life situation. I run away from what's best for me. And I've always chased after the person who didn't necessarily want me in the same way or was afraid of commitment or something, you know, I wanted to make it better. And I didn't do that this time, you know? Yeah. You know, and Bryan really was the man for me. He's absolutely every single thing that I want in a man and in a relationship is Bryan.